you're not getting what you want because you're not fully fucking committed to it. You're looking to other people to validate your desires in the first place. You're looking for other people to believe that it's possible for you. You're looking for other people to tell you that it's okay for you to pursue this thing. Or maybe you're creating your reality by default instead of by design. So you're listening to what the outside world has to say about this desire. You're listening to what those who came before you did, even though they don't have what you want. It's not that you can't do the thing, it's that you aren't fully fucking committed to it. You aren't showing up every single day in decision, fully decided that this is the only option. You're showing up in this wishy-washy energy of, oh, maybe this will happen, maybe it won't happen. Oh, it's okay if it does, it's okay if it doesn't. No. The only fucking option is for it to happen for you because you simply decided that that is what is happening for you in your world. This is the power of consciously using your throat chakra. This is the power of consciously deciding what you are creating through the power of your word. And your word is deeper than simply what you say. Your word has a lot to do with how you show up. Most of our communication is nonverbal. Most of our communication doesn't come from what we say, it comes from what we do, what we commit to, how we show up every single day. So, what is that communication saying about you? And how is that affecting what you're actually creating in your world? You're saying you want these things, but even in that sentence of saying, oh, I want this, it implies that that's not possible for you, that you can't have it. When you have something, you're not like, oh, I want this. You're like, oh, I'm going to go get that. Oh, yeah, I have that. It's already done. It's already a fact. When you're fully fucking committed, you're a little delusional in the fact that it's already done for you. It's literally already done. Can you hold yourself to that standard even though you can't see it yet? You want to scale your business to 5K months. You want to scale your business to 5-figure months. You want to start an online business. You want to have followers and supporters who actually support you and buy and invest in your things rather than just a following. Okay, but can you commit to showing up as the version of you who has that thing already, even when you don't have that thing, even when the outside world is showing you proof and evidence that you don't have that thing? Can you remain persistent and consistent in your pursuit of this thing despite the feedback that you're getting from the 3D reality? Because if you can, the actualization of whatever your desire is a given. Because energetically, you're already living in the state where that thing exists. So I want to go into how we can sometimes show up when we don't have our desire because we think that we don't have it. First of all, you already have it because there's a version of you that exists in this quantum reality that has the thing already. So you already have it on a timeline that exists presently in this present moment through the electrons in your DNA. You have the thing already. But if you're showing up in the physical and you're avoiding doing the thing that you really need to do or you really want to do because you feel like you can't do it or because you're afraid of actually having the thing, you're not living as the embodiment of the version of you who has the thing. So let me give you an example. For the last year, I've been knowing that I need to change my messaging to attract a higher caliber client. But part of me was so reliant on the lower caliber client, on the lower caliber people, relationships in my life to validate a version of me who was grasping for thin air. And this has happened in so many different areas of my life, but this was the one that showed up in my business. And so, me showing up every day, I'm still showing up every day. I'm still taking the actions. I'm still doing the podcast. I'm still doing the free masterclasses. But I'm not actually speaking to who I want to speak to. And so because of that, I'm not allowing myself to scale my business to the number that I want to scale it to because I'm not showing up as the version of me who has scaled her business to that height. And I knew this. I knew this. But I was continuing to take all the action and do all the things because part of me actually liked staying small in where I was. Part of me liked getting the results that I was getting because it validated the victim version of me. And so, in order to actually scale my business, in order to actually shift my messaging, I had to decide okay, I'm done not taking responsibility for this aspect of my life. I'm gonna actually take responsibility for this aspect of my life so I can actually fucking create the change. If you aren't taking responsibility for any aspect of your life, you're putting off your own transformation. As soon as you take responsibility, as soon as you take accountability and you decide, oh, and you realize, like, oh, I'm the person who has to be the one to change this. I am actually the creator of my reality. You want to say that all, so many people want to say, like, I am the creator of my reality, but will you actually embody that by taking responsibility and accountability for everything that's showing up around you? Because if you can do that, you can hold your capacity expands infinitely and you can hold whatever it is that you're calling in. You can easily perceive and see the reality where you have that thing because your capacity to hold whatever is expanded because you're willing to take accountability and responsibility. But a lot of people think, oh, if I take accountability and responsibility, like this person over here gets off the hook. You living in that mentality is why you are still where you are. You living in the mentality where it's someone else's fault, where you want to blame someone else, where it's your mentor's fault because they didn't provide enough, is the reason you are where you are right now. Because you're still outsourcing your validation, your power to create the world around you to someone else. You're saying, oh, my mentor didn't do this for me, da, 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 so it's her fault. Just say that you don't like the way that they mentor and move on with your fucking day. But don't put your results on them because they're your results. And the fact that you aren't taking accountability for those results in the first place is the reason that you need a mentor in the first place. Because if you were taking accountability, you wouldn't be hiring people to get a solution. You'd be hiring people because you want to uplevel, because you want to expand even more. That's the difference between investing in someone because you admire and want to expand and investing in someone because you want an outcome. Whenever you're looking for an outcome, you're pushing away that outcome. Because if you were ready to fully hold that outcome, you would just hold it. It would just be there. It would just be like, oh yeah, naturally, no brainer. Duh. It's happening. Of course. But when you're looking for the proof for that to happen, when you're looking for someone else to hold that with you, you're not fully embodied in it. And that's okay. That's completely okay. But be honest with where you're at and why you're doing the things that you're doing. And also, I invite you to begin taking accountability and responsibility for what you're creating in your reality because you're the only person that can change it. It truly is you versus you. So I'm going to tell you another story. People in your life who allow this version of you who doesn't take responsibility are enabling this version of you to keep you small. And it may be conscious, it may be subconscious, it may be unconscious. It doesn't really fucking matter. What matters is you have to take the responsibility to actually move out of that state in order to see changes in your world. It's not up to other people to do that for you. It's not up to those people who like the version of you as small to enable you to feel bigger. And if you are hanging around people who enable you to be small, chances are you like that. Part of you likes that. Part of you likes being in that role. So what about you likes that role? So my story, this is my relationship dynamic with my family, my mom specifically. My family has a tendency of enabling people to stay small, and I was always the one who wanted to go big or go home. And when I decided that I was no longer gonna work a regular job, my mom was always like, "Oh, well, you can just get another job. Oh, you can just get another job," or, "Oh, you could do this," or, "Oh, you could do that," or, "I could see you doing this, I could see you doing that." And when I didn't have enough money, who was there to save me? Mom. Every time when I had a problem, who was there to save me? Mom. And this was a pattern. And this was a version of me who liked that dynamic because it allowed her to stay small. It allowed her to stay in this role of submission to something outside of her, which kept a lot of karmic realities in play in my DNA system. And when you clear it from this lifetime, you clear it from every single incarnation that exists. And they all exist now in the present moment. So whether you think it's past or future, whatever, it doesn't matter. It exists now in the present moment. And the moment that you actually take accountability and responsibility is the moment that all of that shifts. You say, oh, this version of me actually really likes to play small. This version of me actually really likes to have someone who provides for her, to have someone who is taking care of her. When you own that desire, then you can receive it in a different way and not in a way that's keeping you small. But that requires you taking accountability and responsibility for what it is you're allowing and enabling in your own reality. Because if someone's enabling you, chances are you're enabling yourself in some capacity. And so the moment that you decide, that you begin deciding, instead of outsourcing your power to outcomes, circumstances, society, others, that's the moment that you actually take back your ability to consciously create the world around you. And when you do this, it creates this space for you to hold more. It creates the space for you to actually be the embodiment of the conscious creator of your reality. You're no longer saying, oh, it's because this person, oh, it's because this person. You're being like, oh, no, yeah, I created this. With my messaging, I created not having sales for a long time because I wasn't actually open to receiving it. And I own that. Why was that? It doesn't really matter, but the reason was because I liked being in that character that got things provided for her, that received in that way, who was passive. And scaling my business and up-leveling my messaging to speak to my highest level client requires me taking up more space. And to be really fucking honest, I didn't want to take up more space. I wanted to stay small. I liked being small. Being small was really fun. It was really safe. It felt really normal. And so I had to redefine what normal meant for me. And this took layers and layers and layers of uncovering. But I was committed to it. There was no other option except for me to up level. There was no other option. I always knew that I was going to end up changing my messaging, but instead of actually just fucking doing it, I kept running around in circles because I was so attached to this version of me who wanted to stay small, who got things handed to her, who had to work really hard. And this showed up in so many different areas in my life, and it was truly a shedding of this identity and a detaching from this version of myself that allowed me to actually be like, oh yeah, I'm changing my messaging. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. Oh yeah, it's a non-negotiable. Oh yeah, we're scaling to 20K months. Oh yeah, we're up leveling our clientele. And when I allow myself to be big like that, I don't feel bad for quote unquote excluding people or pushing people out of my orbit because I'm taking up more space. I'm no longer being passive. That requires this death of the ego who likes being passive. It requires the death of the ego who likes to outsource their validation to what they see in the physical. True knowing comes from within. True change happens from within. And when you can change it within, when you can change the way you're talking to yourself, you're naturally going to change the way that you're talking to other people. When you change the version of yourself that you're actually entertaining, that you're actually talking to, you're naturally going to shift to entertain and talk to different people in your world. It just makes sense. So you keep finding yourself in these situations where you're not getting what you really want. And you're like, I have to settle. This is good for now. But babe, for now is the only moment that there is. So why wouldn't you go after what it is you truly fucking want and hold that vision for yourself so that you can actually fucking have it right now? Because you can. You just think that it's in the future, and so it's in the future. You think that it's so far off, so it's far off. But it's not. You actually get to have it right now as soon as you fucking decide that you get to have it right now. And in order to do that, you have to stop entertaining the versions of you who want to make excuses for why you can't have it right now. You have to commit yourself to living as the embodiment of the version of you who already has it, who lives with it, who cherishes it, who loves it, who has already normalized it. And when you do that, it has to manifest. There's no other option. And you've already decided that within yourself, that there's no other option. So, of course, there's no other option. And it comes to be. And the resistance only arises when you force the versions of you who don't want that thing into wanting that thing. So for me, I was trying to force the version of me who didn't want to speak to that person to speak to that person. Instead, I just had to embody a different version of me to be able to speak to that person, which takes practice, which takes refinement. And yeah, it might take some time, but the moment that you start taking action with that in mind right now is the moment things begin to shift for you, and the 3D world can rearrange itself so fucking fast. And these are just some of the concepts that we're covering inside of Deliberately Creating You. We're doing a 12-week live rendition of this course starting June 6th. It's going to be fucking amazing. There's already an entire curriculum inside. And then on top of that, you're going to get 12 weeks of live calls with additional information, with step-by-step guidance through some of the curriculum, and an opportunity for hot seat coaching. And this is probably one of the only times that this course is going to be run live. So if you value being in the room and getting into something that's going to up-level you for years and years to come, if you value having access to a curriculum that you can tap into at any time, forever, that will literally be an asset for you forever, this is the space for you to be in. If you're looking to consciously create your reality outside of just manifesting it, outside of just taking all the action and doing all the work, if you're ready to actually align your energy with being a match to what it is you're calling in, this is the space for you. Say hello to Deliberately Creating You. I will see you so soon. Message me on Instagram, DCY, if you want to apply to be a part of this cohort. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.